Welcome back to Big Picture Investing with me, Kevin McCormick. This week we had a lot of major earnings reports come out from companies like Nvidia, Marvell, to name a few, but they were not the biggest movers of this week. And in today's video, we're going to dive into which stocks had the biggest declines and increases this week. And as a reminder, we did over 18 AI-generated earnings deep dives this week, covering some of the stocks that we're going to mention in today's presentation. This week was a shortened trading week with only 4 trading days due to the Memorial Day holiday, but there was plenty of action inside and outside of earnings this week. As I mentioned before, Nvidia was the big story going into the week, but wasn't the biggest mover. The biggest mover was actually BRP Inc., a company that very few people follow, which surged over 22% this week, followed by Ulta and Zscaler. Ulta and Zscaler both, you can go watch a deep dive of the earnings presentation that we did right here on Big Picture Investing. And then conversely, Gap fell, and so did Ambarella. We did do a earnings deep dive on Gap as well, if you want to go check that out. So a little context for this week. As I already mentioned, we had a shortened trading week, but we did finish up on the week. Today, Friday, as I'm filming this, it was looking like we may be finishing down for the week, but we had a nice rally in the afternoon, which led to a positive week. Just like every week, the Trump administration and trade policy was really the news driving the market this week, and that caused some major swings in the market, which were great if you're an active trader. When it comes to the earnings, as I mentioned before, BRP, Ulta, and Zscaler were the big winners this week, but the big names that a lot of people pay attention to really didn't give us much of an upside swing in today's market. Zscaler and Ulta specifically was just basically good store traffic, as we discussed in our earnings video that you can find on Big Picture Investing. So BRP, like I said, it's not a company I follow or too many people out there I know of follow this one, but they make recreational products and they really crushed it. Not only did they have a great performance after their earnings, it followed through into Friday as well. And as I already mentioned, Friday was a market where a lot of stocks ended up finishing down, but this company continued their momentum all the way through Friday. Could be an interesting stock for anyone that's out there looking for a good trading opportunity. Ulta Beauty. This one, as I've already mentioned twice, you can go get a deep dive into the earnings release that we did. But to highlight what happened here, they had across the board good earnings, and they really highlighted that the consumer is very strong when it comes to the beauty sector. It's not something people are cutting back on. In fact, it is considered an affordable luxury and something that people must have in their lives. And Ulta saw an increase in sales and foot traffic in the quarter. So on the other side of the coin here, we had some very big declines this week, led by Gap Inc., followed by Ambarella, the chip maker that goes into a lot of drones, Cooper Companies, HP Inc., and Elastic. We did do earnings deep dives on Gap and HP if you want to go check those out. So Gap's earnings themselves were actually pretty good when you looked at the top line headlines, but when it got into the outlook and the discussion from the executive team around earnings and tariffs specifically, that's what really hurt Gap, is their concerns that they could have a very large hit to profits this year from tariffs. If you want to have a deeper dive in that, go check out our earnings deep dive. So that's the earnings recap for the week ending May 30th. Stay tuned for deeper dives into Nvidia and the AI trade in the coming weeks. And also, if you want to look into any of the earnings videos we did, please go check out the channel and let us know what stocks and trading ideas you're interested in. Thank you and good luck with your trading.